Today we are going to talk about World War I overview and what to expect for this unit on the World War I, the Great War. Today we are going to first start with our homepage, and I'm going to click on modules. Once I'm in modules, I'll see that I have my new week available. And I'm going to click on the overview page, module 5 overview page found in day 1. And here you will find module 5's resources on the Great War. This is where you will also have this video if you need to go back to it and refer back to it to get a better understanding. So here is what we are going to start with. World War I and the effects. To introduce this, World War I began due to the influence of nationalism, militarism, alliances, and imperialism. We are going to talk about these more in depth, but to give you a little bit of an understanding of this, and this may help you with some of your assignments moving forward. Nationalism is pride in one's country and culture. Militarism is the build-up of the military and having a very strong military presence. So building up with soldiers and assault weapons, tanks, submarines, you name it, everything, building it up. Alliances is that friends and allies that you have with other countries that have similar interests and pursuits. And imperialism is that concept of when a stronger country takes over a weaker country for resources or control and power. All right, countries used propaganda to justify their entry into World War I. So propaganda is like advertisements. It is kind of like what you see in the Spanish word, if you know Spanish, like propaganda. It is where it's like advertising and just really everything pushing towards a goal. And it's everywhere, and we'll talk about that as well. It was the first modern war, which I've spoken about before, because it used weapons from that industrialized period, so what we just covered. Both military and civilians' lives were affected in many ways by a war that had many fronts, and we'll talk about how their lives were affected and where these attacks were. The word front in this in war means where the war is, and so there were many places where the war was taking place because, again, it was a world war. After World War I, the Allies turned their attention to the peace and punishing of Germany. So this is basically the causes and introduction to the causes. Here are the effects that it's going to have. And after the World War I, the winners of the war, the Allies, turned their attention to the peace and punishing of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Although President Wilson of the United States proposed ideas for peace, Great Britain and France preferred vengeance. They wanted to take what they felt was rightfully theirs for what Germany and especially Germany had taken from them. People turned to new forms of cultural expression in the aftermath of World War I, which we will talk about. And not long after World War I, the world faced a worldwide economic depression. And we will definitely talk about this more. This is going to be the Great Depression, and we will talk about why World War I caused the Great Depression. Okay, your target skills will be to develop a claim, which you guys know how to do very well, but we always want to revisit. Citing relevant and accurate evidence, identifying main ideas, and here's the new one, determining the meaning of words, phrases, and structures as they are used in a text. and integrate a minimum of 2 sources to address a question. So not just having one source to back up your claim, but having 2 sources to back up your claim. Also interpreting information from different medias and formats. So like we'll look at political cartoons, photographs, charts, maps, speeches, you name it. And also identify important information from text, like tagging it. Our targets are very similar to our essential questions. So we are, here are those essential questions. Why did the Great War become a world war? How was World War I a total war? How was the Armenian genocide carried out? To what extent were colonial soldiers' experiences similar to and different from European soldiers? How did World War I end? And what were the consequences of the post-war agreement? What were the effects of World War I upon ordinary people? And how did the post-World War world order contribute to the collapse of the worldwide economy? By the end of this unit, we will have covered all of these questions and find out more information based on our findings. It's going to take some time, but it's really important that we do so. All right, here you're going to find video resources. So I want you to, because you are watching this video, I want you to pick two of these videos. Watch this and watch them. Make sure you put a title to it and take some notes on what you find or describe. So I want you to describe 2 of the videos that are from this section. All right, the themes to be discussed are modernity, conflict, state control, and human rights. Those are those themes that are running throughout our units that we see. Modernization of the world, conflict and why do we have it, control from states and what that means, and the rights of humanity and the rights of humans and how that could be different based on what country you live in. Here is a total list of the key vocabulary. So I will pronounce them for you right now. Militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism, propaganda, triple entente, central powers, Western Front, Eastern Front, colonial soldiers, trench warfare, total war, Armenian genocide, armistice, Treaty of Versailles, League of Nations, shell shock, the lost generation, and the Great Depression. We will be covering all of these, and what I highly suggest is you start doing a little bit of digging on your own so you can better understand these concepts. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, compliments, please sure to hit me up during class or email, and I will let you in on the big secrets that you are questioning. All right, guys, until next time.